When a man starts developing deep feelings for someone, it's not just excitement that fills his heart. There are also fears and anxieties that accompany these emotions. While society often portrays men as strong and fearless, the reality is that vulnerability can strike when love enters the picture. Here are 5 secret fears that he might have when he really likes you. 1. The fear of rejection. One of the most common fears men experience when they start to really like someone is the fear of rejection. Even the most confident individuals aren't immune to this anxiety. The idea of opening up emotionally only to be turned down can be daunting. Why this fear exists? Rejection can be painful, not just to the ego but to the sense of worth and identity. When he's truly interested in you, the stakes feel higher. He's not just risking a casual rejection. He's putting his emotions and hope on the line. This makes him wonder, what if she doesn't feel the same way, or what if I misread the signals? How this manifests. This fear can show up as hesitance or overthinking. He might delay asking you out, second-guess his texts, or try to play it cool even when he's genuinely interested. These actions are his subconscious way of protecting himself from the possibility of a harsh no. 2. The fear of not being enough. Another deep-seated fear that often creeps up is the worry of not being good enough. When a man starts to care about someone, he's more likely to scrutinize his own flaws and shortcomings. Why this fear exists? In a world full of societal expectations, many men grow up feeling pressure to embody strength, success, and composure. When he's enamored with someone, he may worry that he doesn't meet these lofty standards. Concerns like, am I financially stable enough? Or does she think I'm attractive and interesting? May weigh heavily on his mind. How this manifests. You might notice that he's particularly invested in impressing you, whether it's through his career achievements, his appearance, or showcasing talents. He could also become unusually critical of himself, perhaps dismissing compliments or downplaying his successes. 3. The fear of losing freedom. Even men who deeply desire a loving relationship can feel an underlying fear of losing their independence. This isn't necessarily because they don't value commitment, but rather because they're anxious about what major life changes could mean. Why this fear exists? Relationships require compromise and adjustments, and this can sometimes be perceived as a threat to his autonomy. Thoughts like, will I have to give up my hobbies? Or what if I lose touch with my friends? Might circle in his mind. How this manifests. This fear might make him take longer to fully commit or show signs of reluctance to dive into discussions about the future. He could also bring up past relationships where he felt smothered as a subtle way of expressing this fear without being direct. 4. The fear of emotional vulnerability. Men are often conditioned to equate vulnerability with weakness, so when he starts to fall for someone, the thought of being emotionally open can be intimidating. Why this fear exists? The modern culture around masculinity often emphasizes emotional restraint. Being open about feelings can be challenging if he's used to keeping his guard up. Admitting that he's falling in love or sharing insecurities may feel risky and uncomfortable. How this manifests. You may notice him being reserved when the conversation turns serious or deflecting deeper questions with humor. This isn't a sign that he's indifferent. Rather, it's an attempt to stay within a comfort zone where he feels safe. 5. The fear of failure. When a man is truly invested in someone, the idea of the relationship not working out can become a persistent worry. The possibility of failing at love, especially with someone he sees as special, is a fear that can weigh heavily. Why this fear exists? The fear of failure is universal, but when it comes to relationships, it can feel more personal. He may ask himself, what if I can't make her happy? Or what if we're not compatible in the long run? These thoughts can make him apprehensive about taking steps forward. How this manifests. This fear might make him seem overly cautious or even create moments where he pulls back. He could take a measured approach to conversations about the future or hesitate to make definitive plans, all because he wants to be certain he's not setting the relationship up for failure. Understanding his fears. It's important to recognize that these fears don't mean he's not interested or isn't capable of love. On the contrary, these anxieties often arise precisely because he cares so much. By fostering open communication and a supportive environment, both partners can work through these hidden fears and build a relationship rooted in trust and understanding.